You've talked about $4 billion a day being saved. If you add that up, it's not...
I'm sorry. I feel you're somewhat trapped in the NP's tree of a traditional journalist. We do not make the laws, nor do we control the judiciary, nor do we control the... DOGE is an advisory group. We are doing the best we can as an advisory group.
That he can is a matter of, I guess, debate or opinion. But the other claims there were false. Fact check, they do write the laws. They control the Republican House and Senate, which has proved very pliant for President Trump. If they wanted to do the harder, longer work of writing in the future, they could have done that. Might take more than the 130 days he was allotted. But again, we're getting into the competence zone and whether they really wanted to do that. Millions of Americans are facing setbacks from some of the cuts they did rush.
Donald Trump's administration is in a state of absolute chaos. Civil wars are breaking out across the White House, and it only continues to get worse as Donald Trump suffers losses every single day. And it is the reason that now many of his top advisors are not just terrified of what's to come from Donald Trump, but are already jumping ship to get out in front of the disasters that they see in the future. And it is leaving Donald Trump panicked. We're going to get into it all in the latest blow that Trump just suffered. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way. And it really does mean a lot to me now. This latest top Trump advisor to quit kind of did so because of Elon Musk, but also the working environment in the White House. So to explain all that, we need a bit of context. And it starts with this really weird story right here. Donald Trump keeps foul-mouthed aide hidden from the public because of his weight. Stephen Chung, Donald Trump's notoriously foul-mouthed communications director, has long been kept out of the spotlight and has never been considered a front-facing White House press secretary role, in part because of his weight issues. Trump administration biographer Michael Wolff told the Daily Beast podcast Beyond That. Wolff alleged he is forever doomed to serve in the shadows as Trump's attack dog behind a keyboard. There's a sort of tragic feel about Trump. Because he's too heavy, said Wolff. He added that Trump feels he has to be hidden away and that the much more visible role of press secretary has to be a young woman like Carolyn Leavitt, or like a majority of his press secretaries in his first turn. Well, doesn't that just sound like a hoot and a holler of a working environment? Your boss, body, shaming you all the time. That's what's happening at the White House. So not only do you have to surround yourself with the most immoral people in the world, but you also have to get shamed yourself. I think that's the karma that's deserved. So that's the White House portion of it. But the Elon portion of it that led to this civil war that has one of Donald Trump's top advisors leaving can first be explained with Carolyn Leavitt ducking this question right here.
President Trump was asked what he thought about Elon Musk's claim that the big, beautiful bill increases the budget deficit and undermines the work of DOGE. And the president didn't actually comment on those remarks. He just talked about the need to support the bill. So what does the president think about what Elon Musk said?
Well, the president is very proud of the one big beautiful bill, and he wants to see it pass. He wants the Senate to get to work on it and send it to his desk as quickly as possible. Of course, as you know, Elon Musk announced last night his departure as an official special government employee from the Trump administration. We thank him for his service. We thank him for getting DOGE off of the ground, and the efforts to cut waste, fraud, and abuse will continue.
So he doesn't have any comment about Musk saying it adds to the deficit and it undermines all his work?
The president commented on this. I commented on it. I told you that this bill saves $1.6 trillion according to the Council of Economic Advisors and the analyses that the president believes in. So he gave a comment. I gave a comment. Just because you don't like that comment doesn't mean it's not a comment. Rachel.
Thanks, Caroline.
So Elon Musk clearly not a fan of the big beautiful bill because it goes against everything that DOGE didn't do. DOGE didn't actually cut anything. They didn't cut spending. They didn't find fraud or abuse. They did go after any agency willing to hold Elon Musk accountable. So I guess you know he was always focused on that. But Republicans are scrambling right now as this clear tension exists between Trump and Elon that of course will get to the reason this top advisor quit. And I want to take a look at what Mike Johnson had to say in response to Elon's critiques. Totally unreliable. Mike Johnson lectures Musk using widely discredited Toolhouse speaker Mike Johnson swatted aside growing concerns that Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill on tax cuts will explode the federal deficit in an interview on Fox News Thursday. Tech billionaire Elon Musk, a steadfast Trump ally, criticized the bill, saying, "I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decreases it, and undermines the work that DOGE has been doing. I think a bill can be big or it can be beautiful, but I don't know if it can be both." The Johnson, pressed by Fox anchors about Commons, simply dismissed these numbers as fake. So you have Elon Musk attacking Donald Trump's agenda, Mike Johnson trying to salvage it. You have Elon mad at Trump, Trump mad at Elon Trump, making fun of the weight of people around the White House. Everyone feeling uncomfortable as it all falls apart, so you can expect why people would want to leave. But as there is this tension between Donald Trump and Elon Musk, you wouldn't expect it to be so blatant. But it is. And with Stephen Miller's wife, as we can see in this article right here, rumors swirl as Stephen Miller's wife leaves White House to work for Elon Musk. One of Donald Trump's top aides, who is also the wife of top staffer Stephen Miller, is following Elon Musk out of the White House to work full-time for the tech mogul. Katie Miller had been working as a top advisor and spokesperson for the Department of Government Efficiency, but three sources familiar with the matter told CNN that she was leaving the government to work for Musk in the private sector. She had been working as a special government employee since Trump returned to the White House, although she was also being paid earlier this year by the Republican consulting firm P2 Public Affairs to advise a range of the company's private clients, including Apple, before stepping away to focus on DOGE. Miller's role as a special government employee was said to expire Friday after a statutory limit of 130 days of service, and she is reportedly helping Musk to set up media interviews unrelated to his government work. Now that he has officially stepped down as head of DOGE, Musk has given interviews this week to CBS News, The Washington Post, where he complained about the White House's betrayal and criticized the big, beautiful bill Trump was trying to push through Congress. Miller's exit sparked speculation about her marriage to the president's deputy White House chief of staff and sent the word thruple yes. Thruple trending on social media. Now I don't want to speculate too much about the last bit of that article because gross. I don't want to think about Stephen Miller's head or Elon Musk's gut. So we're just going to take that very gross set of ideas and just light it on fire. Oh, that's gross. But what is important to talk about, this article points out, is the failures of Elon Musk in his time at the White House and how unhappy he is leaving. And Ari Mel broke that down further in this clip right here.
He eventually had to downgrade the goals. Musk is from tech. There's a big motto about disruption. And while that might work in a business setting to some degree, especially if you don't care about firing people or well-being, something the government's supposed to care about, but it didn't work very well here.
Regulations basically should be default gone. Default gone, not default there, default gone. And if it turns out that we missed the mark on a regulation, we always add it back in.
Missing a mark on a regulation doesn't work well if you get a financial crisis or deadly emergencies. And the problem for Musk was that the type of cutting he was doing of government programs didn't work. I can show you some examples right here. We'll put this up on the screen. He was, of course, blocked in court, like other Trump efforts, exceeding authority. When people learned over time what he was up to, it was very unpopular. And then Musk, who of course is unelected, found that Republican lawmakers and people working alongside the MAGA agenda were now facing pretty strong protests, partly because of the way he was leading. Here's the hit that Tesla took. Musk's unpopular politics were part of toxifying that brand. SpaceX continued to have its own problems, and while that's part of running a business, multiple companies over whether his sort of part-time government job was distracting him. Most CEOs couldn't get away with that at public companies in the first place. There's the self-dealing, we've told you, power to make money. And yet this is a key irony. If this were a movie, it might be unbelievable. Despite having the hack and all the power and overseeing the cabinet meetings, this has been a period where Musk has lost more money than usual. His net worth down by a staggering 50+ billion alone. He has complained about what he has faced. Some accountability, some criticism. He's upset. People will respond to what you do. There's also the issue of scientific advancements and how NASA will work, or education will work, or rural will work when you cut this fast, this indiscriminately. And in response to what is here a provable record, what some call a failed record, says he's some kind of victim.
You've talked about $4 billion a day being saved. If you add that up, it's not.
I'm sorry. I feel you're somewhat trapped in the NP's tree of a traditional journalist. We do not make the laws, nor do we control the judiciary, nor do we control the... DOGE is an advisory group. We are doing the best we can as an advisory group.
That he can is a matter of, I guess, debate or opinion. But the other claims there were false. Fact check, they do write the laws. They control the Republican House and Senate, which has proved very pliant for President Trump. If they wanted to do the harder, longer work of writing in the future, they could have done that. Might take more than the 130 days he was allotted. But again, we're getting into the competence zone and whether they really wanted to do that. Millions of Americans are facing setbacks from some of the cuts they did rush.
Worried about the power that Elon Musk has been given election.
My concern right now, and I think I speak for a lot of Americans, is Elon Musk. Yes.
Elon Musk pushed. The people pushed back, and now he's out. That brings us to a special day around here on the beat. It is time for Che Day. You know the man. You see the cartoon. You see the embattled flags of some of our nation's universities that you've attended. Welcome back,
Right.
Jay Komanduri.
Thank you for having me, Ari.
Having you on Che Day is fitting, I think.
Yeah, I mean, considering it's named after me, what other Che could there possibly be that you could have on Che Day?
I mean, I happen to know that sometimes people call you Chai. If it were a lighter news day, maybe we could just have a chai latte there. But it's not the same, Che. Thanks for being here. I meant what I said in our setup. It's quite remarkable that Musk is out this quickly. He has been bemoaning his setbacks or failures in public, which means he's not spinning them as wins. You have a theory about this, so go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, money can't buy you love, as the Beatles said. Money also can't buy you the respect of voters. It can't buy you the respect of MAGA. And it appears at this point not to be able to buy you the respect of Donald Trump. I mean, it's very interesting that this has all happened over the course of 3 months. Over those months, we have seen Musk lose billions. We have seen Donald Trump gain billions. So his utility has declined for Donald Trump. Donald Trump now feels probably he doesn't need much. And Musk believed he was invincible. You know, he's turned out he was disposable. And his utility and his usefulness to Trump is the case, and he has been shown the door.
You know, sometimes we talk about this, and in my notes here, I know that one other point you raised was that you're arguing today that Musk basically served his purpose, and whatever claims they were about helping the budget or the government, he's a smart guy who thought he could excel in this universe, but you argue that Trump used him, benefited from the Twitter purchase during the campaign, benefited by being a heat shield in the last few months, and Musk ends up the loser in the equation. Explain.
Yeah, I mean, you know, to paraphrase Donald Trump, Musk thought it was going to be so easy, you know, that he was the world's richest man. You know, he had gone from success to success. He'd be able to do this. He'd be able to take over the government. He'd be able to do what he wanted. And it would just be so easy. After all, he was a real billionaire, and Donald Trump merely played one on television. The problem for Musk is that Trump's skill set has proven more useful than Musk's skill set.
Sure, Elon Musk did use the federal government to dump billions of dollars into his pocket while he was in the White House. And yes, he used it to attack any agency willing to hold him accountable for his corruption and criminality. But really, he came out of this thing a failure as maybe the most unpopular person in America, and Tesla's stock is still down from where it was at its peak. And do I ever think that it'll get back to what it was before Elon became the political figure that he is? Absolutely not so. Is this a win for him? Really? No. And that's just really showing our power, our agency, and why it is so important now, more than ever, to fight back. It's what we're going to be doing on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.